All right, so we are almost live, I believe, and we should be live now. Yes, wonderful. Okay, so we'll just take a moment to arrive in the space and just want to say hi, everyone. Hi, sisters. Thank you for your patience. We're starting a half hour late. We had some really wild tech issues that have never come up before. So we needed to do some clearing and some, facilitation of the space to structure a little bit more deeply so that we could bring this forward. So we'll just take a moment and let everybody arrive. Okay. So excited. Hmm.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm just checking on my phone. Okay, amazing. I'm going to,
Wow.
yeah. All right. So we are live and yeah, we'll just take a moment. I know we came on a half hour late, so we're just gonna flow with it and just enjoy ourselves in this shared space. It's just so beautiful to be here with you, Saskia. I'm so excited to share space with you today and bring these codes forward for our sisterhood and our lineages. It's such an honor to be here with you, sister.
Such an honor. And yeah, every time that we've connected, it's always just been, yeah, just so incredibly powerful. And yeah, so much remembrance has come through.
Mm. So much remembrance. And I feel like today, as we were, kind of chatting before this and then praying and working through all the tech issues to bring this forward, this is really today to support the feminine collective with what's really alive right now, especially for those of us who are connected into the Rose and Mermaid and Magdalene lineages and moving through the summer energies. And, of course, we just finished the Syrian Gateway, and I know you held such a beautiful, powerful activation with the blue rose and the blue sapphire, and that was so powerful. And I know there's just been so much pouring in. So, our intention today, sisters, is really to just share some of these beautiful codes and medicine streams that have been coming through that Saskia and I have been really being present with and allowing us to bring them forward so you can also feel what's really occurring, and also with the mending processes that are happening within the Sophianic bloodlines that are connected into the sisterhood of true sisterhood remembrance and co-creation and reciprocity and reverence. And I know that there's been so much occurring. So today is definitely a womb oracle flow. We're going to be, speaking from our wombs and just really allowing God to pour into the space of what is in the highest for all of us, and to really be able to just bring in this healing frequency of Magdalene and of the Holy Mother to support women right now, because especially with the ongoing devastations happening in the world, for those of us who are oracles and are womb tenders of Gaia, Sophia, we're feeling it. And I think that's palpable. So, yeah, that's just kind of a bit to like open it up. And I'm just excited to see how God moves through each of us today, sister, and what wants to come in. And so if you are here live, sisters, we'd love to say hello. And if you want to say hi, we'd love to know who's here. And this will also be uploaded on YouTube for the replay as well. So you can catch it later if you have to pop off at any time. So, yeah, we're holding this amazing Magdalene Rose Grail Ceremony surprise offering that's been, percolating in the field for a while, I would say. And now it's time to really bring it forward. So it's been a special co-creative process to
Mhm.
connect to the mystery. And I feel like those are the mystery codes that are really coming through right now for the feminine, is to deepen into the mystery of Sophia and of Magdalene and the true Magdalene consciousness that's connected into the mermaid consciousness and the womb consciousness of Gaia Sophia. And there's been a lot coming in. So, Saskia, I'd love to just invite you to share like anything that you feel right now in the field that would be really supportive as we're kind of opening up this broader scale. And I'd also love to hear from any sisters who are on the live of like what's been alive for you right now in your own process and what you've been noticing with your own womb and your reclamation of your womb too. So we can kind of also witness that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel it's somehow, that it's been such a joy and honor to feel this like authentic calling of God that wanted us to co-create this offering together. And it's truly just been it's been a mystery, that's been, it's like it feels like it's been deeper than we were able to understand initially. It doesn't feel like, it's just just any kind of surface level, like, Magdalene Rose Ceremony. It was just even, just over the last few days, or just like talking together, we just started to understand like this is a whole new frequency of primordial Magdalene consciousness that is being remembered, that is being resurrected within the Sophianic collective. And it feels so deep, it feels so ancient. And yeah, it feels like it's deeply connected to all the initiations that many of the, just the Christ Sophia, like especially for the feminine, recently there's just been like so much reclamation, so many absolutely powerful soul retrievals happening that have not always been easy. That, there's been many initiations that had to take place where we had to literally, just like free and liberate ourselves from bondage to, there's just been like so much purge and, just like liberation from bondage, from phantom timelines taking place, integrating of absolutely powerful soul lessons that were necessary to resurrect that true primordial feminine power. And yeah, I've been really feeling in the field lately, and especially, hearing this call of God to bring in, this Magdalene Rose Grail ceremony on the Magdalene feast day, and also the calling to go to France, to the south of France, to, actually the land of Mary Magdalene and the mother's Cathar Rose lineage. So, I feel also this deep call to go to, or just to connect with Montsegur, the 12th Stargate, and, knowing the history of what happened, what took place there with the persecution of the Cathar, and also how it's linked up to the Kauai inner Stargate where, I've been living the last few years. Yeah, I just feel like there's been this massive theme of just this like final purge, just final liberation from all bondage, from, narcissistic and reptilian draconian consciousness. This is obviously something that has been ongoing for years, for lifetimes, but it just feels like we're reaching this like peak of like clearing like every single thread of bondage with the fallen, masculine consciousness for the feminine, so that we also can resurrect from, the lunar feminine, or like the dark mother consciousness of suffering, of, the martyr consciousness, basically the feminine consciousness that was split apart with the true masculine, with the true inner Christ. So ultimately, it's a huge Hyros Gamos. It's a huge inner divine union resurrection that's taking place, where we really just need to understand like all the aspects of us that somehow, felt unprotected, disconnected from the true divine masculine Christ, and got harmed or were victimized in one form or the other by this draconian, or in certain timelines like the Cathar timeline. Yeah, it's really like a strong, just like consciousness of persecution, like from the Church of Rome, and representing this like draconian reptilian consciousness that literally wanted to absolutely destroy the feminine, because it represented such a threat. The Cathar lineage that was all about, this like Gnostic inner knowing, the gnosis, and like the true inner lived embodiment, the inner divine union connection with God, that holds so much power. That is the creation power of the Holy Mother. And so, yeah, like it is about literally like, yeah, just like reclaiming this primordial creation power and overcoming like everything that ever stood in the way of that, everything that ever convinced us to give up, to feel powerless and unprotected. And so I feel, yeah, I've been really experiencing recently in my life just like so many signs and just like initiations leading up to this like just final reclamation of the true divine feminine power that obviously is, it's not also a distorted matriarchal power at all, that is in battle with the fallen patriarchal consciousness. It truly is this like resurrected inner hieros gamos where there's true inner union and true reverence, and yeah, there's just like it really is like an inner divine union, restoration. And yeah, there's, I mean, there's so much more I could say, but I'll leave it at that for now. And yeah, I want to hand the mic back to you if there's something you want to add to that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, first, I just want to acknowledge how nourished my body feels from that transmission. And thank you so much for sharing that, because you're speaking into some really deep collective themes that I feel are really powerful, like dot connectors of what has been happening within the Sophianic consciousness and within the field of like really taking all power back and like being in like the last showdown around all of this, like especially when I was in prayer this morning about this transmission, there was so much coming through about organic source coding and really allowing the true oracles and those of us from the Rose, the Cathar lineages, connected into those grids and into the frequency of the Rose and Magdalene of like protecting and like standing for true organic coding, because there's so much being assimilated, as we know, like through all these artificial hybridizations and clones. And as you were speaking about that, I just like felt God like bringing through some pieces like of these like evictions of the AI of like, no, I will not be cloned. My templates will not be cloned, and calling those back and reclaiming those. And not just for us, but also for the men as well. And really recognizing that this is a huge resurrection that is occurring. And like you said, like this whole thing has been kind of a mystery to us. And that's part of it. It's like certain things can only be revealed at certain times in certain containers. And like you're going to France, you're going to be anchored into that grid for our ceremony, which feels so significant. And so, certain things can only happen when your feet are literally physically on the land. And so I know that the thread that you're weaving is a strong thread. And I'm so excited to see how it all unfolds for you and also brings in for our ceremony. And what you were speaking about with like the reclamation of power, and also like from the draconian narcissistic and like like fighting against the fallen patriarchy, this is directly connected, or like women hating men, right? It's like that whole thing of like the inverted woman like hating men and blaming it all on men, and then like this whole like war between men and women. And as you were speaking about that, I could feel that this is also directly connected to the eviction of the Jezebel spirit that we're going to be going through in the ceremony, because the Jezebel spirit literally like is a murderous, rageful spirit that like wants to destroy men through manipulation and hatred. And that is very deep in the bloodlines. It's a very ancient, old demonic spirit. I had some really deep experiences with evicting that consciousness. And so I didn't know it at the time that this was going to be part of it. But as you were speaking about all of this, it's like part of it is also evicting that and getting that out and reclaiming your essence from any type of demonic spirit or entity that has been manipulating you unknowingly through your own trauma, through your coding, that you've taken on through your bloodline. And, we're going to be going through this in a much deeper way in the ceremony, because of course, the work that we're doing in there, it needs the temple space and the containment that, of course, we couldn't do like in this kind of live. But I feel like it's deeply connected to what you're sharing. And like when you evict that spirit out of the consciousness field, like the Jezebel spirit is like a cousin of the dark mother alien consciousness. They're similar, but they're not the same, and they have different frequencies and motives. And so of course, the Jezebel spirit can also impact men, and men can be holding it as well. So it's like this, like, no, I will not be doing this. And also like this reclamation of any part of your field and your templates that have been cloned by AI technologies and being used in other things. And we're going to reclaim that. And that's really, really important, because the hybridization is so painful and it continues to play out if you haven't fully healed that. And I think this is going to be a really big piece, connected then into like all of the womb alchemy that is pouring through as well, between like your womb and my womb speaking together, with like the mermaids coming in to facilitate with that too, and with Aquael. So yeah, I'm just feeling like the depth of this. It just feels so massive. Mm.
Yeah. Oh, yes. To everything you're sharing, there's so many threads there. Like, I love that you also mentioned like the AI, just the AI war basically that has been literally peaking, that we've been seeing so strongly, that is like literally mimicking like the artificial intelligence that is like mimicking the organic intelligence of, Holy Mother, Holy Fathers, living light. That is really like the false light consciousness. And it's so, yeah, it's just like so manipulative, because AI ultimately cannot coexist with organic consciousness, and it will not be sustained on the highest organic timeline, of heaven on earth. And therefore, it's like this major attempt right now to deceive, to manipulate, to derail, and yeah, I feel like it's strongly connected, because we're not only evicting the draconian narcissistic consciousness that can obviously like show up like in so many forms, from persecution events like in the Cathar times, all the way to more, the galactic level of, the 12D Stargate also really represents like just like the Lyran or Orion wars that took place. Like it's really like so strongly connected to that on the galactic level of just like the very first consciousness clash. But it all also just deeply connects with the Luciferian and more like AI bondage that we need to liberate ourselves from as well. So yeah, it's really powerful to just like resurrect that primordial creation power of the Holy Mother that is in union with the Holy Father. And I feel like I love it that you also brought in Aquael, because yeah, I feel like that's really like where our lineages are so connected. And it really feels, this literally like the 12 stargates and, the Caster lineage, France, just the Lyran, basically Cassar mother lineages that are, both like these powerful like lioness aspects of our soul, this like primordial fierce love that represents, that Holy Mother, and also the Magdalene consciousness that is, really just being unified again with the Christ, with the Holy Father, in a way that it's not being taken advantage of, where it's not that like wide open heart that is then, being hurt and harmed, because it's being fully unified back with the true living Christ that is full of loyalty, power, honor, nobility, and just like that bravery and courage. And, so it's just like fully unified again. And yeah, and just like the the whole resurrection of primordial like Tiamat womb waters, the Aquael and Mermaid lineages, and also just like the white diamond queen consciousness. It's really something like an alchemy that takes, it's like it is a specific like Sophianic inner alchemy that I feel is being remembered on the deepest level. So there's a specific rose crystal core technology that has been coming back lately in deeper remembrance to the Sophianic collective. And it is so incredibly deep and powerful because it ultimately, what it does, it's like it allows us as the feminine to remember our primordial essence of water, where we're like, liquidized, water of, we're just basically become one with the Holy Mother's Elasian waters of just like liquid love, liquid bliss, this heavenly star waters of the Holy Mother. And it's like returning back to that primordial essence. It's like it takes like a huge de-armoring process. It's literally like that's why it's so important to do this whole, clearing of all this bondage from, all these forces that either like, AI try to clone and hybridize, deceive and trick, siphon from the feminine, or the draconian consciousness or narcissistic consciousness that's literally just been, yeah, just like harming, violating the feminine in, yeah, really just very dark ways. So it's like we can be so unified that the inner alchemy can take place, this really deep and powerful alchemy between the feminine, sound, that merges with light. And, there's a specific just like process that happens in our light bodies when we unite back with the true living Christ that helps us like de-armor our hearts, our wombs, and liquidize back. And it's really connected to the deepest like mysteries of, the Magdalene, just like dragon, inner hierosgamos. It's basically like an inner dragon marriage that occurs, and that allows us to open like the gateways to, this like Amrita plasma waters and these like Elasian waters that is true, creation plasma from the God worlds. And it really connects to, yeah, the Tiamat womb waters. It is a massive reclamation process that is occurring. And yeah.
I'm just like getting so emotional hearing the flow that's moving through you and like feeling in my body and just just like taking a moment to receive that because it's speaking on such a deep cellular level. And if you hold the coding and the remembrance, it's like it's that paradise coding of like the true essence of Holy Mother and the Sophianic realm that was Tiamat. And what you were sharing about this deeper layer of rose crystal core technology is it just feels like it's a gift waiting, and this reveal is going to happen during the ceremonial retreat that like it's like it needs that, like it needs a beautiful space for the unveiling of whatever is occurring. And I feel like that's been part of the mystery of like God bringing us together to like birth this beautiful space, because there's a there's something really deep that happens when two oracles of shared lineages come together to resurrect a codex. And I feel it so deeply right now, like in my womb, and like I feel like this amnesia spell waking up. And so this is what's happening, is like it's very subtle, but Holy Mother is calling her daughters home into like a deeper remembrance of something that goes far beyond what we've even seen yet. And part of that is because we're now in a new space within the ascension cycle where this can start to be unlocked. You know, eh, there's like different layers to this. And so I can really feel the essence of what you're saying with the primordial aspects. And my heart just feels so full, and my womb is just like, she's just ready, you know? And I think for women to reclaim their wombs and really take back what is theirs and like restore that organic architecture of the womb, it creates such liberation in the field and then in your physical reality. Like when, these things come back. And I feel like that is so important to speak into, of like what actually happens in your life, like as these soul retrievals that you were speaking about, and as like this resurrects within your light body, it's like it's going to start to shift how you view your outer landscape, because it's changing your inner landscape. And so women are going to be able to start receiving their codes and remembrance, like of what it was like to like actually be in that consciousness all the time, without all of like the draconian narcissist, like all of the things that have like basically harvested and like fed on our bodies for forever. And we're taking that back now because Gaia Sophia is rising and Holy Mother is rising through the grids, and especially in like these really sacred spaces in France and like Hawaii, and like moving through the Stargate energy. And like, of course, the womb connects into that. So I'm so glad you brought through the sound too, because I was feeling that. I was like, I want to sing right now as she's talking. And then you start talking about the sound. And of course, like Sophia is the sound. And so allowing your womb song to awaken. And we're going to be doing that as well in the ceremony as we go through and working with the song of remembrance. And, you know, Sophia, she communicates through song and through her sound, and songstresses like us, like to communicate. And I know many women are connected to like bringing through Sophianic music and songs through, and these are living codexes. So like when these songs come through, they literally activate your DNA and cellular remembrance. And that's the song that I'm going to be singing in the ceremony as part of like what I'm offering in that section with the rose, is like, this is a living codex that's going to activate, that's directly connected to the organic frequency of the rose. And so these are like initiation type processes that are from the ancient temples that like we're resurrecting. And like that's why I'm just like, I'm so excited for this. I'm like, I get to receive from you, and like you get to receive from me, and then we get to co-create together, and then we're all receiving together in sisterhood, and we're going to be in circle. And like I'm so excited to see like who comes in for our ceremony, because I know that it's going to be like so special and sacred to gather together in sisterhood, because what we're doing is like so much bigger than just us. And I know you and I have felt that even like as all of this was coming in, we're like, there's like something much deeper happening here that God hasn't revealed, but we're just like following the steps and like staying with the flow. And I know that both of us have like had really deep processes already around this, just even like sharing it. So I can just feel the cosmic womb flow really opening up. And, this is available for women right now to tap into. Like, it's really available. All you have to do is ask. It's just to ask God to help you remember. Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely love that. Yeah, and even just like the title of I mean, Mary Magdalene, we know that Mary is like also the title that comes from Mère, in French, which means mother and also simultaneously ocean. So it's really like that mother ocean, oceanic consciousness and this remembrance as our essence, as the Sophianic daughters of that Holy Mother liquid water, elation water consciousness. So yeah, it really is just such a massive reclamation. So I had this vision as you were talking, really just like the white diamond Holy Mother dragon in the womb, that remembrance, that like literally embodied remembrance of feeling our purity and our worthiness. And, really just like from that, just like kind of primordial, like white diamond song that she sings of that eternal innocence and holiness and purity. It's like I just see these like, almost just like in the womb, this like sound field, and it's also just like this aqua like water essence that came through also on our flyer that was just like so in a way like surprising, but it was just like a massive like just like a revelation that realized that we helped that helped us just realize, just like the depths of this resurrection of like the Magdalene primordial aqua consciousness. And what I feel it's really about the reclamation of, just our innocence, our worthiness, and the magnetism that also comes from knowing our worthiness and giving ourselves permission to be in our joy and our bliss. And that, it really just feels like these, just like this like aqua mer soul reclamation is it's just like, it's just like something that has been calling so many of us women lately of just like remembering, just like remembering our true soul essence and just like reclaiming like the ancient codes, the ancient also just like remembrance of, so many feel drawn to like the mermaid consciousness, but like what it truly represents to me is also like, it's like to me it's like the mermaid is like the higher dimensional muse. It is like the guardian and purifier of the mother's heavenly ocean of eternal liquid love, liquid bliss. And it's really also connects like the heart and the womb in a way that I feel it's like a channel that is able to, or like a frequency that also stands for just like transmuting our emotions, also like, emotions that can feel very challenging, like anger, bitterness, grief, all these things that took place throughout these timelines where there was this entanglement with draconian narcissistic consciousness, with Luciferian forces, with AI, where it's like just there's been so much that, the feminine got persecuted and violated and siphoned in so many ways that there's still so many layers that are just being called right now to be transmuted back into this holy Eros co-creation power. And to me, it's like the Eros co-creation power is like that frequency of the true soul desire. And it so deeply connects to the rose. It's like really like the rose is really like, crystal core technology that's ultimately like a sound field that is Eros, basically. It's like a frequency of worthiness, of purity, and of eros that is like singing this song of our true soul desire and opening that rose to connect with the true Christ, the true Christ masculine that truly wants to meet us. And, allowing that sacred marriage within is, just creating like literally healing the whole womb architecture and literally restoring the womb stargate in the image of truly like a replication of the cosmos, of like the true original sun star networks. And, it's literally allowing us to reclaim back our the heavenly waters of bliss that is actually the deepest, truest essence of who we are. And so it's extremely deep, it's like we're not just going to do a ceremony with rose on a more, just like superficial level. We're literally, going to be unveiling like the deepest rose mysteries and how to use this crystal core technology that we as women all have in our womb, that we're just here to reclaim and remember on a deeper level, so that we can truly reclaim like not just these soul pieces that, but everything that these soul aspects of us represent is like our, worthiness, our innocence, our power, especially our co-creation power with God, where the womb can once more become the holy stargate, this force that literally births worlds and is a vessel for heaven to be anchored back on earth, when we can feel our deepest soul desires as one with God. And, there's no more bondage and entanglement to these forces, and we can really just, sanctify the womb space again, back in union with Christ. It allows us to reclaim so much of that co-creation power, our joy, our bliss. And I feel like it's just like such a massive piece that is meant to unfold for these like Magdalene, Mermaid, Rose lineages at this time.
So beautiful, sister. And just feeling the alchemy piece through the sound as well, and really allowing these things to be transmuted and alchemized, and using the power of the womb and the voice. Like my throat, I'm like clearing some things just even as you're speaking, because I'm feeling like through the song and through the voice, as like the vocal cords reawaken, and like the flow from the womb up into the throat, like to alchemize all of these things and really accept a life of bliss, of happiness, of peace, like, and letting God pour that in and to receive that, because the chains are breaking on all these things, and that they're breaking, and being able to really unlock that deeper mystery of the rose. And it's going to be really special because, you're bringing that forward, of that higher dimensional frequency with that crystal core technology. And then we're also going to be working with like real roses, with fresh roses and rose tea and rose spray. So we're going to be working with the plant matter of the rose, which is a really important piece of understanding like the Venusian technology of the rose too, as like the rose being connected into Venus, and understanding how the rose as like plant frequency also instructs, and being plant taught through the rose. And so developing a deeper relationship with the plant, like the organic plant frequency of the rose, and how she communicates to you through your body, through your womb, when you look at her, when you touch her, when you smell her, when you drink her. And so we're going to be going into that too. So I feel like it's going to be so special, because not only are we going to be like working with the rose, but then we're, all of us are going to have, if the women are called to like go purchase roses for the ceremony, which I highly recommend, to be actually working and like feeling her petals, and having the somatic experience of like connecting in with the rose that way, and bridging it into the physical. And that's going to unlock cellular memory as well. That is a very, deep shamanic oracle initiation of unlocking what it was like to actually work with like the plant, and to grow the rose, and to nurture her and her bloom. And I can just feel like the marriage happening between the two. And so it's going to be really special to also like unlock those pieces and bridge those together in a way that goes even deeper into the primordial aspects of like connecting with Gaia Sophia, of how she allows roses to grow and why the rose itself is like such a big part of the lineage in that way. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how the medicine of the rose deepens in this ceremony, as you know, we all bring roses into our home and she shines her lights, you know, and you put roses maybe at your nightstand and in your bathroom and on your altar. And, you know, the rose energy starts to like immerse your home. And when you sing to the rose, she will open up and reveal codes to you. So I'm going to be teaching more about that as well, as we go through that. So there's just so much, you know, it's like there's just so much coming in, and it just feels, yeah, really special to honor Magdalene and her consciousness and her leadership truly, because I think hands down we can attest that she is the most well-known Sophianic Grail Queen, and what she has endured and what she has basically like taken up the cross as like the persecution of the feminine. When you think of the persecution of the feminine, it's like what has been like projected onto her, it holds so much. And so it's really such an honor to be invited by God to do this, you know, and to hold this space for our sisters and to really honor Magdalene and her legacy in this way. So I'm just really excited to see how it all continues to unfold and to really support all of us in reclaiming our divine inheritance, because it's time. It's absolutely time. And this is like shutting down any more layers of persecution, and also feeling safe, the safety of the Holy Father, to allow that Christ energy to cover us so we can show up in our essence. And by evicting the spirit of Jezebel, that's also going to shut down sisterhood wounding and attacks through the sisterhood like lineages. So that's an important piece, that I think is really necessary and needed to, you know, be cleared out through the lineages. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just was feeling that so deeply, you know, what you were saying about, you know, the eviction of the Jezebel spirit and the resurrection of like the true sisterhood codes. It's just so connected to this resurrection of Holy Mother within us, the white diamond mother dragon in our womb of innocence and purity and worthiness. And then all of these, you know, just like, you know, the holy Sophianic daughter essence that is coming back, that is not in competition or in, you know, envy, jealousy, or in any form like in at war with, you know, the sisters. It's really just, we've been feeling that so strongly through us coming together, how there was just like such a massive reclamation of just like the purity, the joy, the innocence, the sacredness of sisterhood, of true sisterhood, and how, yeah, that we feel God is also using this offering to really resurrect this through us coming together. And I feel that so strongly, you know, that it's really like time to fully evict that Jezebel spirit all the way, so that, you know, the gifts or rewards of true sisterhood can be given back to us, of, yeah, that joy, that bliss, that deep longing that so many of us have been feeling. I feel, yeah, this is really like a powerful initiation for that reclamation.
Mhm. Yes. Arigato shikia saraki sakusokushiyata. I feel this thread right now, like that we've talked about, because it's so funny. Like I was just reflecting on like our Aquael lineage connection of like White Buffalo Calf Woman and like how she brought us together like many years ago. And I just want to speak into the piece of like interference of true sisterhood connections and how that can occur because of interference with like directly like direct agendas to keep sisters apart and to create like interference of connection that is very subtle and sticky and that you wouldn't notice, but it's like it creates like a veil of amnesia. And I know like you and I, like we've had this remembrance of such deep soul connection and like we've done really beautiful work together that's been resurrecting. I mean, that's just it's just been so massive. But I think I what I would really love to just share with our communities right now is, you know, there are women that you are here to connect with who love you, want the best for you, are not in competition with you, are not in envy or jealousy around you, that you can trust, that really have your back, raise you up, and will pray for you and celebrate you. And that is what Saskia and I are bringing forward in this ceremony, is that it can exist, it does exist, and I know that there are so many stories of, you know, the pain of sisterhood and the pain of reconnecting and finding things out of different karma and like remembrances of like what happened in past lives with women. And we're going to be speaking into this more deeply in the ceremony to really bring healing within the sisterhood. So I just want to share that, you know, in this space, Saskia and I are really cultivating this reverence within sacred reciprocity between us and with all women, and that there is no hierarchy or like competition of like the inverted Sophianic essence that is like trying to control or manipulate or like get something or have some like hidden agenda where they watch but they don't celebrate, right? Like we all know that kind. And like there's no judgment on women that are holding that. And there's no judgment either on you if you feel some of that within you, if you feel like you have envy or jealousy toward other women, you know, we want to be able to like hold space for this and allow the alchemy to happen within your own leadership template and your own oracle and womb template of a Magdalene Rose Grail Oracle priestess, however you identify, medicine woman, like whatever speaks to you, and knowing that real sisterhood relationships that are meaningful and powerful and loving of like, hey, I love you, I have your back. Like, I'm not here to like one up you or like tear you down behind, you know, and it's so important to like know that these can exist and that even if you have felt the sting of betrayal or you have, you know, maybe betrayed another sister, like there is redemption and there is healing through forgiveness and through the remembrance and also the renunciation of any type of Jezebel spirit that may have been provoking that either within yourself or within another woman who's you've maybe been tagged for targeting or attack from other women. And I know you and I, sister, have both experienced this on a deep level. And it's just like we hold the medicine to be able to alchemize and transmute that. And so I just want to speak that for any of you who are thinking about, oh, I would maybe like to come in, but I have some hesitancy around like connecting with other women in a shared space or, you know, talking about, or even like sisterhood circles. And there's like an aversion to that. And this is just something that is so important to me personally and like why like I'm holding like the kind of medicine container that I hold, like Sanctuary of Sophia is a sisterhood and it can heal the wounding just by being held in the temple space. And just the work that Saskia and I have done together over the last several months even and just so profoundly healing for the outer collective experience of the feminine being persecuted by women, what we have cleared, like what we've seen in the fields. So I just wanted to bring that forward because I feel like it's an important piece, especially because of the kind of work we're going to be doing. Yeah.
Powerful sister, thank you for that. And yeah, we're going to go so incredibly deep. Like, we're really going to hold space for the deepest, like, transfiguration of lunar consciousness, both from the victimizer and, you know, the victim consciousness. So anywhere that we have been victimized, we're going to hold space for, you know, the anger, the rage, the grief, like the hurt, the bitterness, everything. And we have a specific, absolutely powerful, like, inner alchemy process where we're going to, like, you know, fuel all of that back into Eros creation power, like into what we truly do deeply desire from the depths of our heart and womb. And yeah, also like any inner transfiguration of lunar feminine consciousness in ourselves. Like we're going to like hold space for that absolute, transmutation from within. And yeah, ultimately, it's really about unweaving from, the dark mother and dark father consciousness on the deepest level so that we can remember what it feels like to be held again, in basically like, the Holy Mother, remember our true essence of the Holy Mother, white diamond dragon of innocence and purity and creation power. That also kind of represents like the most primordial aspect of Magdalene and in union with the divine counterpart of the Holy Father, Ruby, dragon consciousness, and how that represents like the protection, the power of eternal victory, and everything that we need to actually feel fully safe and held and protected in that true Sophianic essence.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I can just feel the medicine deepening and yeah, just allowing that to arrive. And as we kind of turn toward the close of our live, I'm feeling like I'd love to just share a little bit about like what women can expect in terms of like coming into this experience. And then also like anything, sister, that you want to share, any final pieces around this. And um, yeah, just like any final drops, because I can feel like we could, I mean, there's just so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I personally can't wait, for next Tuesday and just being able to drop in and receive and really be in the state of receiving. And I feel like that's a huge element of this, of the ceremonial retreat, is when you come into this retreat, sisters, like your only, you know, role like is to receive, like, and to be held and to receive support, so it's really a beautiful feminine space to drop in. And we're going to be spending the whole day together, and we're going to flow with the medicine, and it's going to be very Sophianic, right? So it's a mystery. Anytime there's a Sophianic medicine ceremony being held, we're given a glimpse, but what happens when you're actually in the temple space, in the etheric temple space, and Saskia is bringing her medicine through and I'm bringing my medicine through, we start to receive for the women that are in the space. So as you come in and you sign up, we're going to start to receive medicine specifically for you. So God will start to give us downloads, and we won't necessarily know who it's for, but as you say yes and you come into the ceremony space, letting like God know, like, okay, I'm coming in, I'm ready to receive this healing, this activation, this remembrance. God will start preparing Saskia and I with the downloads of what else is meant to come in for you and for all the women that join. And so it's a very special, intimate space in that way, where this isn't for hundreds of women, right? This is an intimate space where we're going to be co-creating together. And the flow of the day is going to be, spacious and expansive and soft and activating. And we're going to have fun too. It's going to be really fun. So like, while we're going to go deep and like, we're going to do some really beautiful deep healing, it's also going to be a celebration. And there's going to be some, beautiful elements to it that are really going to inspire and activate your own remembrance of your reclamation and who you are. And the intention is to really support you in coming home into your full divine feminine essence, your Sophianic essence, and resurrecting that Sophianic Magdalene Grail Rose consciousness that you hold from that deeper level, like Saskia was sharing with the primordial womb waters too of Tiamat. And so we're going to be holding the ceremony all day on Tuesday. And as the ceremony flows, you're going to be able to like share in the chat around what's alive for you, which will help us like also bring in medicine for you. And then at the end of the day after our ceremony, after Saskia's womb activation and the rose ceremony with me, we're going to hold a sacred sharing circle where you will be able to come into the space, be seen, be witnessed, ask for support from us on your personal process and receive that. So there's a bit of mentorship and sisterhood support in the space as well to really allow you to receive and be seen and yeah, receive that support, which is invaluable. And we all know that when you are being witnessed in a sisterhood circle that is held with love and compassion and reverence, it is deeply healing for your nervous system. And so we're really honored to hold this space and we're really looking forward to supporting you because we know how deep this goes and we can feel just the gathering of souls coming in and how this is really significant. So if you're feeling the call, you know, I'll put the link in the comments. You can go through the ceremony flow, connect with your womb, connect with your heart, you know, see what your soul is speaking to. If you're feeling the call, we'd love to have you come in. And upon, you know, signing up, you'll get an email with how to begin to prepare and just starting to open the flow. And it's going to start to come in for you as we move into this week before the ceremony on Tuesday. So I would love to invite you, sister, if there's any final pieces that you'd love to share before we close our transmission today.
Yeah, just yeah, really just calling those sisters that feel a connection to, you know, the Aqua, to the primordial white diamond mother dragon, or like Tiamat. And yeah, like just like the mermaid and rose lineages, and truly just like those that are ready to reclaim like their full worthiness and magnetism, their joy, their bliss, and be fully, you know, just like really free ourselves of the final threads of bondage to fallen consciousness, and, you know, unweave from specific timelines and really resurrect this like Sophianic sisterhood. Yeah, this original, like just like this original feminine Edenic template of inner divine union and Sophianic true sisterhood based on purity, and also just like, you know, I feel like the magnetism really supports also this like grace and ease, and also the feminine, just like abundance, restoration, wealth, and, you know, just like the true legacies that were meant to burst into this world, you know, the true heaven on earth, the true aurora legacies that are going to be able to flow with so much more grace and ease through our wombs when we, yeah, really just like clear the final threads of bondage that's been holding us back, and really allow ourselves to experience, like, you know, literally like on a somatic level, the deepest inner union possible, like with God, with the inner, yeah, with the inner Christ. So yeah, my prayer is to just call those souls that are truly meant to receive this. We have been, yeah, we've been feeling just like this aqua lineage so strongly between us, and we know there are, yeah, there are a few sisters that are part of this lineage that are meant to receive these activations, these codes. We're incredibly excited to just share this medicine, this shared medicine of both our complementary codes and medicines with you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Just really feeling the nourishment and allowing the feminine to be honored, to be resurrected, restored, and to be raised up for the true divine inheritance and sacred remembrance of this culmination lifetime, and for us to really celebrate in that and to celebrate. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm deeply honored to do this work with you, sister. And I'm so excited to hold this sacred day of ceremony together and see what unlocks and what resurrects from the grids as we do this work. And I feel like this is going to be a ceremony that we remember for a long time as we do break the final chains. It's like I can feel that so deeply of my feminine spirit's already been like so revived just from birthing this offering and bringing it into the world because she knows what it means. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really like a Grail Queen resurrection, like almost like get the preparation for like that throne room, that is really just like rebirthing us into our true essence of who we are. And I can really feel it so alive in my body and my womb. My soul is celebrating, and so excited for what's going to come through for all of us.
yeah, me too. I'm like celebrating in advance. I'm just so excited. So thank you so much, dear Saskia. I love you, sister, so much. And yeah, thank you, sisters, for watching, for being present with us. And if you are feeling the call, we'd love to have you join us. It's going to be a really sacred day of sisterhood and reclamation and healing and celebration. And there are gifts coming from this experience. So I'll drop the link in the comments. And if you want to sign up, you can read all about the day. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Saskia or I. And yeah, we really look forward to seeing you in ceremony next week. So thank you so much and blessings to you, sister. Womb blessings.
Thank you so much, sister. Love you so much.
Much.